Hello everyone, it's Amy, and welcome back for week 29 of Journaling on a Budget Starting Over. And today we are going to just work in the journal. When we did the front cover, I had said I wanted to put something on the inside cover, and that's why I put the fancier part of the paper in the back. But then I forgot to do that before we got off. So I'm going to do that right now. And this is what we look like so far. I think that it's really turning out very nicely. We've got our dangle here on the side, and it's filling up really nicely. So now it's just down to the finishing touches. So the first thing I want to do is put like a book plate in the front. And so this is just a label that I did with one of my homemade stamps from the recycle store. So I'm just going to edge this because we've got this really nice area here to write, you know, who the book belongs to or whatever you want to put there on that book plate. So, and then I think I'm going to just use glue stick for this because I have the permanent glue stick. Just an old book here that I used the cover to make a bead box. So, and it does have some really nice paper in it, so I think we'll use some of that today also. I want to make sure that I get my edges, and I want to make sure that I cover the whole thing. I should have kind of decided where I wanted it before do I want it right in the middle? This is going to go on the top of it. I think I do want it pretty much right in the middle. Being that we've just got the stick glue, that ought to smooth down nicely. And then we'll just take, this is just one of the toilet paper embellishments that we made, I believe, in this series. And I'm going to glue that on with, I think I'm going to use Fabri-Tac just because it grabs faster. And then we'll have, I always like to try and make sure that there is a book plate in the front of the journals. Sometimes I forget, so I really wanted to make sure that I got that in here so that whoever gets this has got a place to put their name and everything. I'm going to just put this right up here at the top. Because it's so light and it is fairly thin and everything, it works in here really well. So just get that pressed right down in there. And I think that that looks really cute. And then maybe we need a little bit. I grabbed out lots of my distress inks and a bunch of different stencils because I thought maybe we'd go through and kind of really, like this page is pretty much done, but it needs a little something. It needs a stencil on it. And so I just, because a lot of the areas don't need a large stencil, I tried to pull out a lot of borders and that type of thing. This is how I store my stencils. I cut down file folders to fit the stencil, and then I stencil right on the front. And then I store them kind of by size so that I can read them. And but then when I'm looking, I can just pull it out and see, do I think that that is something I might want? I think I like this one right here. And so, and I have all different sizes. But that's a nice swirl, but it's too big. And I like that ivy, but I think I like this one better. So I'm going to set this one over here because so far that's my pick. This one, oh, these are self-stick butterflies and dragonflies and birds. But I don't see those here. No, I still don't see those there. Some more borders, background flowers, a couple more borders. That's kind of cute. I'm going to leave that one out too. I like this corner, but it's a little bit too big. And some more dragonflies. So my question now is, I'm thinking maybe if I do this stencil here, I think I like this one better. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to do it in the same turquoise color that I edged that with because it looks really nice with this background color. And now the question is going to be, I shouldn't have put this on until I stenciled it, right? So now I'm going to have to just use caution, make sure that it doesn't move, and make sure that I hold it down as I am using it. I think I want to be a little closer up to the top and to the edge. I don't want it to be floating in the middle of nowhere, so I'm going to hold it down here so that I can do these. And I just want it to be light. That's why I pulled out the Distress inks, because they give you a really nice light color, because this is just kind of in the background. And when you're stenciling and you've got a multiple stencil like this one, just be careful not to get over into the area that's not part of your stencil. Because every so often I get to going really fast and then I wind up with something on there that I don't want. So I'm going to move down here, hold this down nice and tight right here. So even if you do have to go over top of different things, you can do it if you just take your time. And just press straight up and down whenever you're stenciling, always straight up and down, so that you don't get anything underneath the stencil. When you're using inks, they don't get under the stencil as much as a paint or a spray does, but oh, I like that. And I think that's just what it needed. It is the cover page, so it doesn't need to be super busy, but I think that was just the little extra thing that it needed. Okay. Kind of slide the top back on this for a second. So I like that, and I consider that page now done. Except, one more except, I think that I'm going to put just a little bit around the outside edge. Again, that last little finishing touch. Because that's the thing, when you get down towards the end of your journal, then it's just time to go through and decide what you need and where to actually get it what you would consider to be a finished journal. And then comes the fun part of being able to write in them or put pictures in them or doodle or keep track of notes and that type of thing. There. Okay, so our front page is done. And then I had slid this in here. This was a double-sided piece of paper. It's very shiny, so it's hard to glue to. So I am going to set this aside for now because I don't really know that I want it there. But we did have the two pieces left over when we were doing this. And I think that this would look nice, you know, to be in here also. So I also put one in the very back here, which this one I already finished off, and I put a writing space on the back of it, and I thought that I would do kind of the same thing for the front. So what I did for the back for the writing space was I took this book and just found, you know, a blank page. And if you can find a blank page that doesn't have writing on the other side, like this one here, so now I can use this. I don't like it where the writing is because a lot of times that could show through. But I've got all this area. I'm going to take this one out, even though I've already got another one pulled out for it. But I'm going to take that out so that I've got it in case we need it for another one. So here we go. I'm going to now set this aside. But we need that. And I'm just going to use my tear roller. And I'm going to start by just tearing off the bottom. And it's easiest to tear the largest, to hold the largest portion of what you're tearing. And then put the smallest part under your ruler. Because if you're trying to pull that little teeny tiny piece, it makes it hard. So let's see. Yep, it needs to go this way. And I'm kind of leaving a little bit of an edge there. Leave a little edge on that side also. And then that bottom is too crooked for me, so I'm going to take some of that off. Just making sure, because it's such a teeny tiny piece, make sure that you kind of hold your ruler down exactly where you're tearing at that time. and that will make it so it doesn't slide out. If you're doing just a tiny piece, a lot of times it wants to pull out if there's not a lot of pressure right above where you're pulling. There we go. All right, so we've got this to put on the back, and I'm going to do that, and that's not the back, that's the front. I am going to put that on with glue stick also, because I think that glue stick works really well for paper to paper, and I just like this glue stick. But it depends. If it's really heavy paper, a lot of times I will use wet glue, or if I'm gonna, or if I have something, you know, added to it or something, I may use wet glue. But for just a writing space, and for a writing space, to me, the stick glue is much smoother underneath the paper, so that, you know, underneath this piece of paper and above this piece, you don't get lumps, so that it's hard to write on. So, and then I do want to round the corners on that, just because I think it looks more like a journaling card that way, and I really don't like the hard corners. So then on my other one, I put on some of, I have pulled out, this is a box of the different things that we have done throughout this series, and I keep them together, and that way, you know, and some of this stuff may be left over from a previous journal or whatever, but I kind of try and put mostly whatever I'm working on with this specific journal, you know, all in one spot, and that way I can go back and go through it to find things for my finishing touches, because then you kind of have, you know, that continuous look about the whole thing. So I want to use the faux washi tape that we made. That's what I used. I'm going to make this basically just like the one in the back almost. So I'm going to just kind of measure. I want it right about there. I cut off just a little bit extra so I can trim it really nicely and not waste too much. Push that down and trim it off. So it really doesn't, you know, take a whole lot to embellish these things up. Looks like it's got a little bit of white paint on it right there. Okay, and then I want to put a stamp. And I thought I pulled out a stamp to put on here. Oh, it's right here. I like this one, Believe in Your Dreams. So I'm going to put that one on there. And on the one for the back, I put a flower that we had left over from the tassel. And I think on this one, I'll put a butterfly. Just because I think that that would be as like a 3D embellishment. I'll put that there. Give it a little bit of a press wherever you know those words are. And then let it sit there and make contact so that that ink has time to soak off of the stamp and onto your paper. So there we go. And I like the way that that kind of doesn't really blend in with the back, but it kind of does. You know, it all looks like it goes together. Okay, so butterflies. Now we could put a flower on this one also. You know, why don't we do that? Why don't we put a flower on this one, and we will use a butterfly for something different, so then we don't have too much of any one thing all through the whole book. I mean, this is mostly birds, butterflies, feathers, that type of thing, and then kind of florally. Okay, and if I put this one in here, I think I'm going to want to put the flower on this side. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on there. And a little bit of glue on the back of the flower, including that one petal that wants to fold up, so that I can get it to stay down. There we go. And then I just had some little gems from the dollar store, which I really like the looks of these. When you're doing a nice bright colored book, I think they really look nice. I think the pearls, the flatback pearls, look really nice with, maybe I'll put just a little bit of glue on the bottom of here also. The flatback pearls I think look great with like your vintage and your kind of Victorian type, but I like these kind of shiny ones for my brighter colors. So there we go. Now we have a nice writing space there. We've got our feathers on the back. I don't think that that page needs any more. It gives a place to write here if you want to. And I don't, am I going to edge the page or not? I don't think so. You know, sometimes I think that that's just the perfect thing to do, and sometimes I think you can overdo it if you do like every page or something. So this page has got the flip up on it. It's got a place to write here. And our feathers have come through just a little bit, which also I think looks nice. We've got a place to write there. We've got a pretty backdrop there. This one, I didn't want to do anything with. Maybe I'll put just a little bit of stenciling. Maybe do just a little stencil there in the corner or across the bottom. This definitely needs something. This one I think might just need maybe even some lines. I'm not sure. I liked that one the way it was, so I'm going to leave it for now. So we've got our booklet here, but we need to do something on the back. Now, do we want stenciling? Or I think we do. And that's kind of what we're going to do today, is go through and pick out the ones with stencils, the ones that we don't want to stencil. Like if we want to put lace or something, we'll get to those next time. Birds and butterflies. No, I think more like a swirl. Ooh, this nice big swirl I think would look really nice on there. Which way do I want it? I'm going to look at it here as it's stamped out. It's easier to look at it this way than that way. And this way. I think this is the way that I want it to go, which is this way. Yeah, I think that will look nice. And then I want to do that in a pinkish color. So this is Worn Lipstick, which is more of a reddish pink, which is okay because we don't want it to be too pink and totally blend in with the pink underneath. And if we try this and it's just too light, then we can always go back in and layer another color on top of it. If you're afraid that you can't line it up perfectly, just offset it a little bit. And then it will look like you did that on purpose. Oh, maybe I should have put the pressing board underneath here. I should have definitely thought of that. I always think about it about halfway through. And there we go. That looks nice, and that really did, you know, kind of do for that page what it needed. And this page I do think needs to be edged. And I don't know why I have my, you know why all of a sudden I think this needs to be edged and this does not. But it's just whatever pops into my head, then that's what I feel is the right thing to do. You know, just let your subconscious guide you if you're really not sure. Sorry that my arm's in the way. I put so much stuff on the table so that we could do this. And now I have no room. And a little bit even across the bottom, even though it's really not seen much. There. Okay, I do like that. I like that a lot. And then maybe since we did that, now maybe I will use that same pinkish color to edge this notebook. And that will help pull it all together. Yes, that looks very nice, but I think it needs to be punched. So let's see. No, that's not going to work. I wondered how many I could do at once. There's 4, 5. That's the center right there. There we go. If I can get it in there. There, I like the way that looks. Okay. We're going to need to make something or find something to put in this pocket because it's empty, but it looks good. Maybe it needs something on here. So there, let's look at the birds and the butterflies. Nope, that's not. Maybe it is. Yes, it is. That's supposed to be with the flowers. Alrighty, so that's way too bright. And those are too small. Nope. Ooh. Okay, you know what? I think that's it. I don't need to go any further. It needs to be edged, and what color does it need to be edged in? I think we're going to do the blue. That's not turquoise, it's blue. So that one would be Faded Jeans. And that will draw, because this color really looks nice with that. And so I think that looks really good. And then this blue along the edges, I won't do it like, I'll just do it on the edge. I won't go way in. But it will draw it to the page next to it also. And things don't always have to match. Just, you know, whatever feels right. And I think that this one I'm going to put on with wet glue to make sure that it sticks down. Which way do I want it? I do want it this way, right there. And I'm going to use my pressing board for this one. And here's my wet glue. And also what I'm going to do, because this is kind of a slippery surface, once I put the wet glue down there, it has to dry. I'm going to put a little bit of this permanent stick glue in the middle. That will hold it while the other glue is drying. Well, that's stopped up. I need something to stick in there. Here's a needle. There we go. I'll have to remember to clean that off when I'm done. Get it on there, make sure we get it out by the edges. Leave that area in the middle to stick with the stick glue. press this down really well. Squish that glue right out to the outside edges. There. Then, hold on a sec, I need a paper towel. Just a little bit of water on it. Because I do want to go in and get off any of that extra glue. So that there's not a big shiny spot on the envelope. There. I like that. I think that that looks good. Got that on that side. Alrighty, I'm going to take this out and I am going to stick a book on it. Because I definitely want to make sure that that gets nice and stuck on there, because that's kind of a shiny paper. Alrighty, so then we've got that, looks good. What if we do the same swirl and you need to wipe your stencil off, although if I didn't wipe it off it would kind of if I didn't wipe it off it would kind of go purplish, and I think maybe we'll do that. Let's see. Maybe we'll do that one that way. So instead of, oh, then it won't go purple. I need to wipe it off because the red will be on the bottom, and I think I want to do it the opposite way. And I don't want this big, huge red smudge from this side of the plastic to just get all over my paper. There. Alrighty. So I want to do this one this way. Right about there. Where's my pressing board? Put that underneath. Put that one there. And I'm going to use that same Faded Jeans ink, which is quite a dark ink. So I'm going to try and put it on there kind of lightly, because it is just for a background. But I think that will really nicely also tie these pages together. Even though it's going to have the envelope between them, you'll still be able to see the top part of these, even with the envelope in there. And I want to get right down here. There, I like it. Alrighty, so we will put our bird back in there. And now we've got that sticking there, so that looks pretty good. And in here, we've got the card. And I think that it looks done. So now we've got this page. This page definitely needs to be done completely. So we're going to skip that one for today. Okay, now we've got this one. This was a piece of scrap that I had from one of my papers, and I thought it might look cute to put on one of these as a little tab. But after I put this stencil in here, I decided that I wanted these two cards to go all the way in so you could kind of see it. So I don't think putting a tab on them, I think that would defeat my purpose of what I was doing. So I don't need to do that. And this one needs a little something here and here. And I'm going to say, and maybe we'll only need it here once we do it, I think it needs some lace. This needs lace. So we'll do that next time. I'll pull out my laces and stuff, and we'll do that next time. Alrighty. Now this one I think is done. It's got beautiful paper. It's got the nice writing spot here. It's got a tuck spot here, which we did along the edge so that we could see that really pretty paper. So we're going to leave that one just like it is. This one needs something on it for sure. It's nice to write on the back, but this is a little bit too plain. So what do we have to stencil on there? Birds. I saw birds, like a flock of them. I think it was here. It was in here. But I don't know how well. I don't think that they'll really... Oh, here we go. There we go. That's what it needs. We're going to use this bird right here. I liked that flock of birds, but it just didn't fit on the page correctly. And do we want to do that just in like tea dye, so it's just kind of in the background? No. Because I'm going to take that one off. And I am going to use this one. Let's grab the pressing board here. And I'm just going to use these little bits. And then we'll use that big one. Now I do need to be careful what I'm doing, since I don't want the other bird on there. I don't want to get part of it on there either. And I also don't want to go off the edge of my stencil. So there we go, and it's way too light, really. Well, maybe not. That's a background. So, and then I'm going to do... these like this. I'm going to do the bigger bird in black stays on. So maybe it will be nice, whoops, to have these just very lightly like that in the background. To give it a little added interest, but not be in your face. Yeah, that does look good. Alrighty. Just need to do this because I want to do them both the same. And I don't know why I do that. I just do it a lot. I like things to be a little bit matchy-matchy. Yeah, that's very backgroundy. I do like that. And a little bit more. Oh, that one got a little bit dark right there. Put some up here. And right there. And right there. There, okay. So that just kind of fills in the background. Now, let's do this. Ooh, stays on. I don't have a separate sponge for that. I'll use this red one. I'm going to move our book for a second. Put this right down on the table. And I think it needs to go that way. And I don't normally use stays on through a stencil. It is definitely going to stain my stencil because it stays on. I can clean it off with rubbing alcohol because it is a plastic stencil, but I probably will not because I don't know what the rubbing alcohol will do to this specific plastic, and I wouldn't want to ruin it, so I'll just leave it on there. It stays on, so it's permanent. It's not going anywhere unless I put another permanent ink on top of it. That looks cool. I like it. And this one I'm going to put this way. So yeah, when you're just going through you know, I kind of like to do things sometimes when I'm getting to the finishing touches. I like to do it like this, where it's like, okay, I'll go in and I'll do a bunch of stencils, and then I'll go in and do some lace or fabric or, you know, and make tags, that type of thing. But mostly just because this way, like I pulled out a lot of stencils and I pulled out a lot of inks. And so they're all over the place. And if I try and then pull out laces and everything, I just don't have the room for it. And so sometimes like, oh, I wish I had that here because I'd like to finish that page. But it still, for me, works better to do it this way. So I'll put that back in there. And get that back in there. And I can't tell you what kind of stencils these are because I don't have any idea. Not even exactly sure where I got them. Whether it was a recycle store or a craft store. But there, now that definitely helps with that tag. That makes that tag look nice. And again, this is one with a smaller tuck because we have the really pretty paper. And then on this side, we were leaving the paper. We put this nice little edge on here with the pretty clip. So that's done. And then this side, we were going to leave. This needs a lot of decorating. Needs a lot of something. Even though it's already got stuff on it, it looks very plain to me. So we've got this one that opens up. It's got 2 pockets, so we'll have to make some tags for there. But maybe we should put a little stencil across those 2 flaps there. And these are nice and tiny. Go all the way across. There's a couple little ones up across the top. And if I go all the way across and just stencil even part of the bigger ones across the top, that way when you take the tag out, there will be a little something behind it. I think I'm going to do that, and I think I'm going to do it in orange. I know I brought orange out. I really did, here it is. I was going to say, I really did bring orange out. I knew it. Ooh, that's kind of a reddish. You know, the orange is what's going to stand out. Because if I do a pinkish kind of orange, it's going to be a little too blendy, I think. So I'm going to line this up so that it doesn't go outside the bottom. And again, I forgot my pressing board. And I'm going to go all the way across, so right across the fold, all the way to the other side. And there we go. It looks kind of funny because it's got the red dyed paper right, or the orange dye in the paper right there. I think that it needs a little, it's got a few little leaves, and I think it needs one right here. And maybe right here. And this one, it'll line it back up because it didn't get the tip of the leaf right there. Yeah, much better. Okay, I think that looks cute on the inside. A couple of tags. I was thinking about maybe putting a butterfly or something here, lace or something, but we'll wait till we put the tag in there and then see what's going to go with that. On the front here, it needs a stencil. Ooh, let's do this one. This is a background stencil. But that will give us the option then to put something else on it. And try and see where I want to line it up at. I'm going to have to kind of, I'm going to have to move it. It's not big enough to cover the whole thing. So I'll have to fill in a little bit towards the top. I'm going to flip it over because I'm not sure if that ink on there is water-soluble ink or a permanent ink. And I definitely don't, if it's water-soluble, I don't want to mix that brown with this orange. Although then again, maybe that wouldn't have been too bad. All right, I'm going all the way to the top because I know that it doesn't quite fit my page. And then I'll move it up. And now after I said I don't want that brown to mix with my orange, I think I do want some brown to mix with my orange. So I'm not going to move it. I'm going to hold it right there. I tend to just throw these around all the time, and then I never can find them or figure out which one's which. I'm using a little bit of tea dye, just here and there, to tone it back a touch. And give it a little depth. I like that. Yeah, two tones really make a difference. Now, that one was this one, and it's only part of a flower. But I don't like the fact that there's nothing there. All right, I'm going to put this up here. Just go to the edge. When I wasn't paying attention, I really didn't want to overlap what's down here. And I want to put a little bit over here. Yep. That looks okay. All right, now I like that. And I like that. We need something here. I think it needs some lace. I can't figure that page out any further than that. So I think that that's where I'm going to leave it. I'm liking it so far. But I'll come back to it. This one I don't know either. And I think we're getting to the point now where I'm running out of ideas. And so when I get to that point, that's time to stop. It's just time to stop. So like this one I think needs a stencil here, but I'm not sure if I want to do it in pinks or browns. And I thought maybe we would make it through this whole section, but I'm just really, I'm done, basically. Like, you know, you have to sometimes say, you don't push it to finish it just to get it finished, because if all of a sudden, I've just lost my mojo. And I can finish it if I want to, but if I do, I won't be happy with it later. So I think that we did good today, and I like the tag that we made. And remember that, you know, go through your books and find the pages that don't have writing on them, and you can use those for the back. I do like to make like my writing spot. If I've got double-sided paper, I like to make that writing spot a little bit smaller, so there's some interest there. But I like my writing spots to be plain, and I really like them to be one piece. I don't normally collage them, and that's just me. But, you know, if I'm going to write on it, I want to be able to write on it, and so I want it flat, personally. So then we didn't do anything there or there, but here we just added a little ink around the edges, rounded our corners, which actually we rounded our corners after. There we go. And then the little stencil, which really makes a difference. And then, you know, maybe something else there, but possibly not, because those are solid, deep pockets. And so, you know, if something's sticking out, it may not let it tuck into that pocket. Totally can't do that page yet, or that page. So this page is done. I do like how that tag turned out. I think that turned out really pretty. And that page is, both of those pages are done. This one I don't think we're going to do anything with either. Maybe we'll make another paper clip to put on here, or something to put to cover it, but yet leave it like it is, because that is a beautiful piece of paper. And then we've got this here, which I really like the way that that has turned out. And that's as far as we got for today. but I think we're doing good. That's about halfway through the first signature. So, you know, we still have a few more days to go, and we will have this all finished up, but I think it's coming along nicely. Thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to my channel, please hit subscribe. And if you want to be notified when I do a video, which is each Tuesday and each Thursday, but you can get a notification if you click the bell, and then it will notify you whenever I put up a video or if I put up some kind of a flash video. So thank you very much for stopping by. I think we're really coming along nicely here, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.